So first of all, Iyengar Yoga is a specific approach to Hatha Yoga practice. Hatha Yoga means the sun, moon, the balance of opposites. It also means forceful will. Those are nice things to remember. So Mr. Iyengar developed this approach to yoga because he was very ill as a child. He was born during the tuberculosis epidemic or something like that in India. And he has always lived in India. This approach to yoga is noted for focus, precision, technique, alignment in the pose. And it's also known for using props to help people with their poses, either to make it easier for a person, doable, as we say. We've got to make things doable to our level so that we can experience the pose and then move from there, rather than try to imitate the pose and distort ourselves. We use the props to make it doable. We use the props sometimes to make it more challenging. We use the props in therapeutic ways. For example, if you have a upper respiratory issue, we'll do things, put props or bricks or something under you to lift your chest up and help expand that area. Just a quick idea. So the props that we use, this is a yoga block. It's 4 by 6 by 8. We use these Mexican blankets because that was all that was available when people started using blankets. And we like them because they're a little bit thicker. They're a little, the weave doesn't move. Let's say a knit blanket, for example, crocheted or something like that, wouldn't work for this because it would move too much. And the blankets then could substitute for a bolster, but a bolster can't substitute for blankets. And the bolsters, you'll see we're going to use the bolster at the end of class. Now, if you don't have all these wonderful things right at your fingertips, don't worry. Now that you know what they are, you can first of all look around your home and see what you can find that would be pretty close to this. A rolled up sleeping bag does a great imitation of a bolster, for example. Up to a point, especially if you're just laying back over it. I have used a sofa cushion, seat cushion and back cushion, stacked up seat cushion, back cushion a little further back. It worked fine. So be creative. I've also used like a 3-pound coffee can. Empty is easier to deal with than full, because I didn't have a block. So be creative. Those substitutions may not do every single thing that these will do, because this is what we build our work around, but they'll take you a long way. Okay, so I hope that helps everybody. And I hope that you're going to enjoy this and have a really good time today. Today we're going to work a little bit on balance. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of off balance with all of the different ways of doing things and being and not being with people so much. So I thought this would be nice. And we hadn't worked on balance too much specifically. All those standing poses that we do have something to do with balance. And that otherwise you wouldn't need a chair, would you, to hold yourself up? So we can work on improving that. Let's sit in our chair right now and sit away from the back of your chair so that you're holding yourself up. Press your feet on the floor, and what you find, if you even just watch my shoulders, press my feet on down and show my trunk lifts. You can watch my shoulders as my trunk lifts. I'm not lifting my shoulders, I'm lifting through my trunk. Press your feet down and feel that lift come up through your waist and up through the trunk. Think inside the rib cage rather than in the surface area. Let that lift come inside the trunk. And one of our teachers, Mary Dunn, I love the way the visual she gave here. Pretend that there's two beautiful pillars coming from your sitting bones. Those are those bones that you can maybe feel on the chair, or if you ride a horse a long time or a bicycle, they'll get sore. From there, up through the trunk, up under the collarbones. And then let your shoulders rest on that lift. And then bring your shoulders back slightly and your head back slightly. Just retracting the chin. It's not the chin, it's the back of the head that moves back. And then observe your breath and let your breath be slow and steady and smooth and even. And then keep that and take your arms down to the side. Tighten all the muscles in your arms, especially this muscle here called the tricep. Tighten that muscle up and extend down through your fingers. Lengthen your neck, keeping all that extension, all the legs, all the trunk, everything we've done. Revolve your arms at the shoulders so the palms face outward. Shoulders are down, neck is long. This becomes a little more strenuous when you do that. Extend your arms, keep them extended. Back of the shoulders go down. Arms up, back of the shoulders go down. This bone goes a little deeper into this socket. Tighten right here in the shoulder socket. Keep your arms stiff and straight, go up more. One way to help yourself, if you have an issue straightening your elbows, this is the final strap I forgot to mention to you anyway. You can use a strap, which can be any kind of a sash or a belt. You pull apart, keep your palms facing forward and pull that apart. You'll get a lot more action and you'll learn to straighten your arms. All right, bring that down, keep your trunk, and then rest. One important thing to do as you practice yoga is to come out of a pose the same way you went in. And this is an example. We went to all of this trouble to build this structure and maintain it as we brought our arms up. It would be a big mistake then to release all that and come down. You lose the beauty of what you just did. So sometimes in the standing poses, it takes more effort to get out of it than in it. It's a learning thing. Okay. So let's just take the legs wide apart just for a moment. Hands on your knees. Toes go the same way as the legs. Press down your feet, lengthen up through your waist, drop your shoulders, and just extend yourself forward. Press with your arms. I'm pressing with my legs, pressing with my arms, extending my trunk, and just leaning forward, just to open up the hips a bit. Your hips may or may not come off the chair. Don't force that. My back of my thighs are touching the chair and my hips are not. Either way is fine. Anything is fine. Just work it and come up. Bring your legs back together. Sit toward the front of the chair. Your right leg, grab behind the knee, come up. See that this leg on the floor, toes are straight ahead. The good thing about doing this on video is I can see what I'm doing. I can also see what you're doing. All right. Now, this ankle eventually goes just to the inside of the middle of your thigh. The foot is flexed. And you sit up. Now, when we do this at first, watch what happens when I point my toes. Did you see my knee come up? I didn't do that on purpose. Flex your foot will help the knee come down. Just use your hands here. Press the foot, left foot on the floor. Lift up just as we did before. And breathe. So you should be having a lot of excitement in that right hip. Excuse me. If this is calm for you and you want a little more excitement, you can re-engineer this, press the foot down, extend upward, and lean forward. It won't take you too long to find more excitement in that hip. Shoulders are back, neck is long. So never sacrifice the extension here to get the more stretch here. And then come up. Bring that leg down. Sit for a breath. Now we're going to take your left leg, reach inside, pull it up, and I always just give it a moment to get the idea of where we're going. So then as that settles down for you, you pull the leg a little bit closer. And depending on where you are, for me, it's much easier. I mean, we're all used to doing this, right? We're not used to doing that. So you can start with something that you're more familiar with and then work toward the new thing. Flex your foot. The reason you want that heel on the medial mid side of your thigh is because there's a big old nerve that runs down the middle. And if you put your heel on that, you will definitely not enjoy it. Sit up tall. Press your right foot on the floor. Lengthen up through your waist, shoulders back, head back, and breathe. If you want more excitement, take an inhale, lift yourself up more. That's the extension. And lean forward, exhaling, expansion. We talked about this last class. And every inhale is extension. It's more of a vertical awareness, and the exhale is more of a lateral awareness. Then come up. In this 1 hour space, I have to choose between, we typically will repeat poses twice at least. Sometimes in this format, because I'm limited to 1 hour, I'm only going to repeat things once. So hear this time and know, when you watch the video, you can pause it. You can work on a pose for a while. You don't have to just truck along with us when you're watching the video, okay? This time we're going to do a little twist. Remember here that the idea is to twist from the bottom, imagining the pelvic floor as the bottom, and we're going to spiral ourselves upward, letting the neck and the head be the last thing that turns. With humans, that is the first thing that we want to turn. Press your feet down. Get that Tadasana action through your trunk. Take an inhale and draw your arms up. Take a moment, exhale, expand. Inhale, extend. Exhale now, twist to your right. And bring your hands down and find the chair. Take a moment. Inhale, draw yourself up. Know that your right ribs are going to want to go toward the chair. So bring those ribs in, your left shoulder down, both shoulders down, but left one tends to be the more rambunctious one. And get yourself rather settled in that beginning position. Now, internal work is to imagine that you can come from your pelvic floor and imagine that you could actually twist around this area in front of your spine. We're not twisting the spine. We're twisting the body. The spine rides along. So get some leverage with your arms and then use that stability to spiral through your trunk, maintaining your alignment, breathing, and then come out of this slowly. Keep your lift, keep your extension. Slowly come back. And sit for a moment. You put your hands on the back of the chair. That helps maintain this chest lift. Notice the difference between the two sides of your body. Press your feet down. Draw your arms up. Twist towards your left. Bring your arms down. Back arm is on the chair. Front arm is on the side of that left thigh. Lift, press your feet down, lift up through your trunk. Shoulders move down. Get your head in line with that little notch on your collarbone, called a clavicular notch. Give yourself a moment then to observe, where are my ribs? Oh, mine are sticking out. I bet I could do better. So the arms give us the leverage to make those adjustments. When you set yourself in this position, this should take a little effort, but it should be comfortable. Then the internal work, when not as obvious on the surface, is to come from the pelvic floor and imagine that you're spiraling upward, keeping the trunk straight, the ribs straight, the chin in line with that clavicular notch, shoulders down, find your way, keep breathing. The last thing is your head turns. Very slowly from the bottom to the top, unwind yourself, come back to center, put your hands on right at the back of the chair where the back of the chair meets the seat. There's a very light pressure there. It's more a reference point than a leverage point. And notice now, how, first of all, both sides hopefully feel more balanced. Second of all, notice how you're sitting. This hand position has the opportunity to lift the chest. It also has the opportunity to encourage you to project your chest. We're not projecting the chest, we are lifting it straight up, as if you had your thumbs right in your armpits, and we're lifting in that way. Very nice. All right. Now we get to stand up. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, stand up. So we're going to start with Tadasana at the wall. Well, figure this out. Leave your chair in the middle of the sticky mat. And you're going to stand on your right leg first, so stand where that leg is next to the chair. Bind the wall with your heels and then move the heels out just a bit. Depending on the shape of your backside, so that your hips lightly touch the wall. After you have firmed your legs, lifted the kneecaps, lifted the thighs, tailbone moves forward and up. The pubic bone goes backward and up. There's a compression between those two bones that helps to lift the pelvic floor. See if your hips are touching the wall evenly and equally. Your shoulders probably won't touch the wall, but you will be very close to the wall. If your hair is as bushy as mine is right now, you can feel it. I know Ronnie can feel it with her hair. Now, in order for this to work, the leg you're standing on has to be very, very strong. So begin by really gripping that right leg, and you can put your hand on your chair. Keep the grip of that leg as you come up on your toes. Make that standing leg really work. And this area of the hip has to move in. So the top of this femur bone has to move inward. Take your left leg. You've got choices here. You can lift it up. You can place that foot on your ankle and draw the knee back and balance. There's no stopping place between your ankle and your groin. We don't put the foot on the knee. You can use this strap around your ankle if you need that help to lift it. But once it's placed, use the muscles of your legs to hold it. Here. All right, then you can take your arms to the wall. If you feel safe, extend those arms. Legs are strong. Draw those arms up the wall. Palms up. Palms up. Keep going. All the way up. And breathe. Bring your arms down. You can hold the chair if you need the balance. And come down. How did that hip feel? Did some work. All right. Other side. So now you're going to stand on your left leg, find Tadasana near the wall. You can have your feet slightly separated, but bring the big toes toward one another. Now, these top thighs move, they roll from front to back. So from this inside toward the back, press the thighs, roll the thighs. The head of this bone is called the femur bone. Head of the femur bone fits in your hip socket. Press that head of that bone into the hip socket. Touch your chair. Make that left leg strong. Come up on your toes. Feel how you lift through your trunk. The abdomen, the abdominal muscles are another important part of this pose. Turn your knee out. You can rest your foot on your ankle and turn the knee out. You can use a belt to lift it, put it on the groin, and then look where my hip went, wrong place. Push that hip away from the chair, pull the knee back, press arms into the wall, and draw them up the wall. This is my foot that has been damaged, so balance on my foot is much more precarious on that one, but I still worked on it. So just for an example of how you may work through things, Today I had to lean my shoulders on the wall for a moment for balance to get through this. But now that I'm up, my index finger touches the wall and that's all. You have to find your own way. Bring your arms down. And bring that foot down. Stand for a moment. This is one we're going to do twice, for sure. Go back to your first side. So your right side faces the chair, is near the chair. Tadasana at the wall. Big toes inward a bit. Then, so it's interesting here, right? I've asked you to put your big toes more inward, be a little pigeon-toed. Then I'm asking you to roll your thighs outward. Experiment on your own. I'm not going to take time, but experiment on your own. What would happen if I let you stand with your feet, your toes out, and you did that? Well, it's easier to get this action, but stability is not there. So we have to have the balance of opposites. So the heels are out slightly, toes are in, wrap the thighs front to back, tailbone to pubic bone, lift, shoulders down, neck long. Now, you can touch the chair. Really firm up your right leg before you begin. The right leg, the right glute, all firm, very, very strong. Place your leg. Press that leg into the heel of the left foot. Draw the left knee back. Lift up in your trunk. If you feel safe, take your hands to the wall. If you're happy with holding onto the chair, do that. But eventually begin to rely on the strength of your legs. Draw those arms up the wall. Keep those arms straight. Keep breathing. And extend upward. Keep your lift and extension. Keep your balance as you bring your arms down. And then bring your foot down. Stand for a moment. Change sides. Stand at the wall, Tadasana. Big toes in a bit, heels out a bit. Don't exaggerate it, but it's just a little bit. Roll the thighs from the front toward the back. Feel the legs firm, feel the glutes in the lower abdomen firm. Hold the chair. Now really double up on this left leg. Make it strong. Draw that bone into the socket. Pick up the right foot. Place it. You've got to push that left leg into your right heel. Draw that knee back. Right knee. If you've got your balance, take your arms to the wall. Draw them up. Keep extending. Keep breathing. And then bring them down. Maintain the pose. Put your hand on the chair. Release the foot and stand. All right. And, just for a minute, we're going to do next Trikonasana. So you'll put the chair. Now, if you're accustomed to doing Trikonasana with a block instead of the chair, by all means, you can do that. But in this class, I want people to work at a pleasant level. So I work pretty hard in doing my tree pose. But don't overexert. Find that midline, mid area. All right, we're standing at the wall. Take your feet wide apart. So take your left heel to the wall and step out with your right foot and take that under the chair. You may want to pull your chair a little bit closer so that you can move over it. This is a nice arrangement because less flexible people will have support here where they need it. More flexible people can go to the seat of the chair. More flexible people can put their hand on the back rung of the chair. As you breathe. The trunk stays extended on both sides. The legs are both working vigorously. Stretch your arms. Now begin to revolve from the tailbone, from the base of pelvic floor, from the pelvic floor up. Do that twisting action through your trunk. Don't allow the head to lead. Head goes last. Stretch your arms and breathe. Then pull up with your left arm and square your feet and step them together. Tadasana at the wall. Reference the wall. Reference where your hips touch the wall. I have a rotation in my spine. So this always tells me, oh, this side is touching more than that side. Straighten up. All right, move your chair. Then you're going to step your right foot out, your left foot up under the chair. Now the hips here need to face straight ahead, not to the side, but straight ahead. I can do that very easily if I bend my knees. So I do that. I allow a little softening of the knees here, address the trunk action that we worked with, and as you draw your trunk up, draw your legs up, working from a little different point of view. It's often the legs lift the trunk. Now the trunk is lifted and the legs come under to support it. For me, that's easier because this is the harder part to work with. Everybody's a little different. Top of these thighs roll from the front to the back. The heels kind of scrub in. Just scrub means if you were on a slick surface, they would slide. But you're not on a slick surface, so you just get a little traction. Inhale, come up. Move your hips away from the chair. Move your hips away from the chair. Keep the trunk long. Keep the shoulders back. Keep the head back. Move into your pose. Holding the back of the chair. Holding the seat of the chair. And I really like to make this progression myself because it keeps us from rushing past the challenging parts. And if you're more flexible, you can take your hand to the bottom rung of the chair, somewhere down there, there it is. rolling, there, rolling through the ribs, roll the trunk around, keep the legs straight, stretch both arms. Head is the last thing to look up. Keep breathing. Pull up with that right arm. And then square up your feet. Stand. Tadasana at the wall. Take a breath or two. Let's repeat that. So, when we did the last pose, you notice I had to adjust my back foot. You have to have enough room between your legs to complete the pose. If your feet are too close, the proximity of your feet have something to do with how far you can bend at the hip. So give yourself plenty of room. Step that left foot out and make a big step with the right. And give yourself plenty of room here. Ideally, the wrist would be over the ankle. Okay? Move toward that direction. You may not get that far today, and you can, great to practice in front of a mirror if you happen to have one. Now, draw those inner thighs back, scrub the heels, press the feet, take an inhale, extend up, and then as you exhale, expand yourself through the pose. You can press the back, the seat, or the chair run. Draw up through your legs. Move your hips away from the chair more. Adjust and lengthen that right side of the trunk. Revolve. Revolve through your trunk, twisting. The head is last. Keep breathing. Arms are strong. Everything is working. Pull up with your left arm. Same sides. So kind of have an idea. Step back with your right leg. Big step with your left. Get a big distance. Stretch your arms up and contest it. Even if you're not there 100%, move in the direction of getting those legs wide apart. Then up on the feet, scrubbing the heels, revolving the thighs, firming the glutes, lifting the trunks, stretching your arms. Take an inhale. Draw up. Make your legs really strong. Get yourself ready to go. As you exhale, move from the legs. Don't move from your trunk toward your chair. Move your legs so that the trunk doesn't have any choice. You can touch the back, you can touch the seat, you can find that bottom rung. Whatever you decide on, then you improve from there, right? I'm kind of collapsed right now. I think I'll work on that. Stretch the legs more. Lengthen that left side of the trunk. Shoulders go back. We go through that twisting action in the trunk. Stretching both arms. Breathing. Pull up. Lift the right arm. Square your feet. Those that are accustomed to jumping back into the pose, you can jump. Otherwise, step in. It's fine. All right, now then, Tadasana. This one, I want the seat of the chair toward you. No, I'm going to do it different. The seat of the chair faces away from the wall. Are you with me? All right, now we're going to step. Just stand in front of the chair a little bit. So you're going to put your right foot on the far side. Now you may have to sit down to get this done, but step, 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 way back with that left foot. You can hold the chair. If this balance feels precarious to you, stop, and I'll give you another way to do this in just a second. So just if you feel off balance or you're unsure, just wait a moment. So then, keep moving this back foot out. You see how I'm creeping it out? I want this thigh to end up parallel to the floor. Now, it's not like I'm relaxing here. If you took the chair away, I wouldn't pull down. See if you can get toward that level of extension. Extend your arms. Come to the side. You can move your arm in front of your leg. Stretch both arms. If that felt precarious to you, other people keep going. You can stand in front of your chair and bend your knee and be up here. You must work all these muscles. Everybody come up. So I'm sorry if some of you missed the first side, but that's good to have a recording, right? So the left foot goes over, the right foot goes way back, way back. Remember how I said, there's, of course, too much is too much, not enough is not enough. Your foot is this close, there's no way I can get my thigh down except for taking my knee very far forward. Not healthy. I have to have this leg spread enough so I can get to the pose. But if I keep going, then I have no power to lift myself. I might look good in a picture maybe, but I'm not working. Okay? So find that balance for yourself. Yoga is a constant experiment because we change hourly, moment to moment, and you have to meet that moment as you practice. Bring that thigh down. Lift your trunk, lift your abdomen, drop your shoulders, stretch those arms, and breathe. And then I'm a merciful person. Just kind of sit down in the chair, bring your legs together, take a rest. Get your heart rate up a little bit, doesn't it? All right, we do that one more time. Step over the chair, step back, further, 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 further. You feel like you have some ability to get this thigh down and get some support. Then turn the legs on, glutes, abs, lift your trunk, twist your trunk, hips face forward, stretch your arms, stretch your legs. Breathe. And then come up, in this case, release down and go to the other side. Normally you would push up back to standing out of that. It's a little awkward with a chair between your legs. Okay. Step back, Get that distance. Then create your pose. The hips have to square. Trunk lifts, shoulders are down, neck is long. Work those legs front to back. From the lower abdomen around to the glutes. Front thighs, back thighs press back. Then extend more and more and more into the pose. Feel that work and feel that stretch. Stretch your arms up. Turn your head. In this case, we're not twisting our entire body, just our head. Breathe. And then sit down. Bring your legs together. All right, then let's do, we can do, no, we can't. Let's just go to the wall. I never quite make it through my whole program here, but it's good to have more than you need, right? So if, like me, your mat was long side at the wall, now adjust so that it's the short side at the wall. You can take your 3 blankets or your bolster and a block. So I'm going to set it up at the wall. My block is on the lower side. The bolster is right in front. And then we'll take our 3 blankets. If you don't have a bolster, you can take your 3 blankets. You actually need to lengthen them out. I found through trial and error what I think is an odd thing, and that is if you start folding the loose end first, if you roll it, we're not folding, we're rolling. If you start with that loose end and then make a tight roll for yourself, you will come out better in the long run. So see there, now you have your bolster. Just like everybody. It's good to smash them. Now, to get into this, that can be a trial. So unless you know how to get into, if you know how to get into this, be gone with you. All right, if you're learning how to get into this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up real quick so you can see. I'm going to sit at the wall on the very edge of this bolster. Hip is touching the wall. So I'm going to sit down with my hip touching the wall. I'm on the edge of the bolster, then I'm going to roll over. One arm goes down, one arm goes back, one leg goes over, one elbow goes down, wiggle, wiggle. Get your hips closer to the wall. Then hold the bolster. Oh, yes, and lower yourself down. If that is a struggle for you, let me finish this. Tuck your shoulders under. Arms are to the side. Bring your legs together. And in the beginning, make your legs a bit firmer. As you relax into this pose, you can relax the legs a bit, but not to the point of collapse. So they have some integrity. If that approach to getting onto this bolster was just way too much for you, and it is for some people, and a lot of that has to do with body proportion and just experience. Another thing you can do is get on the floor, you can slide this thing in and out. So when you do that, you're going to get on the floor. You might even be, well, your hips are right at the block. Your sit bones are right at that block. And you can lift yourself up and draw the bolster under you. Pull it up a bit. Now, you don't want to end up on this side of the bolster. You want to wiggle a little bit so that your hips fall on the wall side of your bolster, so that your chest is open. I know this is an easier way to get in and out of that pose. I think I must like the adventure of the other way. Either one gets you there, and that's what's important. Take your glasses off. Now we're going to rest. So you roll your shoulders under you, palms to the ceiling, arms out to the side, palms up. Rest in the center of the back of your head. Really enjoy the spaciousness in your chest. As you begin to feel more settled in this pose, allow yourself to release and relax a bit more. Softening your face, relaxing your eyes. Allow the edges, the outer edges of your eyes to soften. Move back toward your temples, toward the floor. Let the eyes themselves soften back into the socket, away from the front part, into the back. And your eyes softly close. And even though your eyes are closed and your eyeballs are relaxed, let your eyeballs look downward as a quiet observer. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue. Tuck your shoulders under a bit more. And again, enjoy the spaciousness of your chest. Take a few breaths that are a little bigger than usual, not to strain, but just to explore and enjoy. And notice how your body is responding to those breaths. Does it feel even and equal on both sides? If not, can you imagine how that could be better, how it could be more even? You could focus your breath into the side of the body that seems to be lagging or not as responsive. And after a few breaths in that way, try this more centralized focus again and see the response, see if it has improved. It may take repeated experimentation like that to get your breath
to fill you evenly and equally. Slow, steady, purposeful breath. And by that I mean a breath that you are watching and controlling a bit to refine the action. At some point, though, be grateful for what you have and let your mind rest and allow the breath to become its own master. Your awareness is on the body in general. Can it relax and soften anymore? Now slowly bend your knees into your trunk. Give that a moment. Notice if your hips rolled up or if your back arched more. Arching a little more is better. Gives you more spaciousness in your trunk. Now, we have to wiggle to get out of this if you're on a sticky mat. If we had more blankets, we could put another blanket down. But if you're using all those blankets for your bolster, you don't have them. If you have a bolster, you can put another blanket down, and it makes this easier. But we're just going to lean to one side and move the hip up, move to the other side, move the hip up. And at the same time you move the hip up, press down with the opposite shoulder on the floor. Slowly wiggle yourself out. This feels kind of good, if you ask me. It feels like a massage. And then you're going to rest. Just cross your legs on the bolster. Take a nice breath. Arms to the side, palms up. Normally we would stay a bit longer here, but our time is running out. So change the cross of your legs. If you're watching the video, you'll know how this ends. You can turn it off and stay as long as you like. Slow, steady breath. Now then, let your next inhale be a little bit bigger. Next exhale, bigger. Big inhale. Stretch out your fingers. Maybe roll your head side to side. Bring your knees together. Bring your right arm up overhead onto the floor. Roll on your right side. Roll the knees over. Rest there for a moment. Put your head on your arm. And then you're going to roll your trunk toward the floor, push with the left hand or your right hand, and then the left. Push yourself up to sitting. Come around, you can sit on your bolster if you like, but sit cross-legged. As you release your thighs down, lift your trunk. Let the lift of your trunk support the shoulders, neck, and head. Draw your palms together, thumbs in the center of your chest at the sternum. Gently lift that skin up. Release the shoulders down. Maintaining the lift of your head in gratitude. All the blessings of your life. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Release your palms down and have a great week.